Well, one of the problems that people present me with is a problem of having headaches. Now, oftentimes there's a lot of tightness in the neck, there's a lot of pinching in the nerves. The whole skull sometimes can feel as if things are too tight. And I'll talk to people about how their whole skull is actually covered with connective tissue, and that oftentimes as I put my hands on their head, it will feel sort of like the end of a hot dog that's been twisted off, as if somebody has really twisted everything up here and everything's real tight. So from the Rolfing perspective, what we will do is begin to not only manipulate the neck and the head, but make sure that it has good support from below. There's a lot of problems that the neck has is actually a problem with the upper and lower thoracic, and that may be a problem that's coming from the pelvic girdle. So because everything's connected, because everything should support the structures up above, oftentimes part of the problem is within the neck structure itself, maybe from a whiplash injury or some sort of fall. Maybe it's just from sitting on the phone for too long and your shoulder begins to grow into this position. Or maybe you play the violin or the flute and this is how you hold yourself. So the body begins to get stuck. So you can unfree some of the restrictions that develop in the connective tissue here, but also you can provide a good foundation and support for the neck and the head. For some people, as they stand up straight, their head will be way out in front of their body. They'll just walk around all day long. They'll sit at the computer. They're like this constantly, which puts a tremendous amount of stress on all the muscles and the nerves in the back of their neck. So from the Rolfing perspective, what we want to happen is that the head and the neck are literally on top of the shoulders. So they begin to receive a lot of support. And when that happens, then a lot of the problems that people experience in the neck suddenly begin to disappear. Maybe it wasn't really a neck problem at all, but maybe that's just where the pain was. Oftentimes we find that where people hurt is not always where the problem is. That often pain is actually sort of a liar. And that the people you've gone to in the past and say, well, please fix this pain. And they tried to do something here, but nothing changed. Well, maybe that's because pain is a liar. Maybe only part of the problem was in your neck, and the rest of the problem was hiding below your neck and all the other areas of your body that were somehow trying to sabotage you in a very sneaky way.
This becomes apparent in our before and after 10 pictures. This young lady is a model in a class in Miami and actually sent to us by a children's clinic. She's only about 17 years old, perhaps. And you see here how the contour of her back and the contour of her abdomen display the fact that her lumbar structure is much too far anterior. As a result, she's compensating with these buttocks much too far back. Whereas at the end of 10 hours, so much of this has changed. The lumbar structure has come back. Because the lumbar structure comes back, the hip structure drops, and that buttock structure becomes much more normalized. Her neck begins to sit up on her spine, over the spine, supported by the underlying spine. Here you have the neck structure, and it makes you suspect that it's breaking. There seems to be no support below it.
So if you'd like some help with your headache or your whiplash injury, I'm confident that Rolfing can help you. Go to my website or give me a call. How does that sound?